Good morning and welcome to Caretaker's Corner, where we discuss everything that has to do with taking care of our elderly disabled parents, our disabled spouses, and our adult disabled children. My name is CJ and I am your guide on this journey. When I started to work on this video for today, I was thinking it was just going to be a simple video, that it would just be a one shot, and I got a feeling it's probably going to take me more videos than just one. I have done some videos touching on this subject, and I've gone back through and I'm working on reviewing those so that I'm not providing the same information just over and over. Some things that we do, that information is going to be repeated a bunch because it needs to be. I had a friend who has had a really bad month. Her father went in the hospital a little over a month ago, and he was in the hospital for a month. They just kept finding stuff wrong with him. And after that, about a week and a half ago, he got moved to a rehab facility. He was moved there, I believe, on a Friday. And so, of course, you had the weekend crew in there. Things did not go very well with the transitioning there. So she had to go back to talk with everyone on Monday. I want to go over a few things that can help make those transitions better. I'm going to go over some suggestions on how to communicate with rehab facility employees and medical professionals there. And then I'm going to go over some checklists for stuff that you need to provide. Now, this video is just going to be like a quick video that kind of goes over on a high level of everything or just touches on it. And then I think I'll be doing some more videos that will get a bit more nitty gritty. I did a video when my mom went in a nursing home for rehab at the beginning of the year in February. And I know that I have done videos about when you're trying to choose whether assisted living or rehab or long-term nursing. I've done videos on that. This is going to be more on the lines of when this takes place, and it has to take place, what you need to provide, what your rights are, and what you can do to help make things go smoother in the transition. Some things you're going to need, some things you're going to want. You're going to want to be able to communicate. I know that in the case of my friend, when she went to talk with social worker and the director of nurses, she was worried about retaliation, and that is something we must never be worried about. She was worried about them taking it out on her dad, and once again, that is something we should never have to worry about. That's kind of what I plan on discussing, the highlights here in a second, and then I think I'll be doing more videos on this. When putting a loved one into a rehab or a permanent nursing facility, there's a certain information that you need to provide to the nursing facility that will help with your loved one's care. You need to make sure they have a distinct understanding of the medical history of your loved one. You need to make sure that they understand all of the medication they are on and when those medications are supposed to be given. And then you need to make sure that they are being given. Apparently, that was also an issue that my friend was having with the nursing facility. You need to understand that, especially in the beginning, in the first few days, there will be issues. They're getting to know your loved ones. Your loved one is having to get used to being in this facility, and sometimes there's some communication issues. You have to remember that anything they do medically has to have a doctor's referral for it. There has to be doctor's orders for these, for anything they do medically, for medication and for care. So you want to make sure that there are doctor's orders in for all of their medicine. So that way they will be getting their medicine and getting their medicine on time. You want to make sure those orders are proper for their medicine. You want to make sure that the care is properly being done and the orders for the care. I had a hunting accident when I was 16, okay? And everybody was worried with the surgery and all that. And during all of this mess, after a couple of weeks, I started getting a really high temperature. They said, "Oh, I have an infection somewhere." It turns out that in all that time, nobody had bothered changing the bandage on the actual wound where I got shot. And so it was infected. And these are things that should have been written down and were not, and everybody just forgot it. The same thing can happen with your loved one. You want to make sure that they are receiving the proper care that they're supposed to, especially when you're going to a new facility. It will take time to make sure that it happens, but we do want to make sure that does take place. You need to make sure to let the nursing home know what their likes and dislikes are. This is with clothing, with care, with food, entertainment. What time do they normally go to bed? What time do they normally get up? Let them know any allergies that they will have. You would be surprised. It doesn't often show up in a person's medical report about allergies, and sometimes they don't realize how an allergy can affect something. Case in point, I am allergic to all meat and meat byproducts. This means I can't have jello. It also means that a lot of medications have to be checked because they have, if it's a capsule, usually the capsules are actually made out of gelatin, and gelatin is made from ground up meat bone. Sugar is an issue because sugar, your regular table sugar, is part of the process and goes through bone char, which is meat bones. So if there is allergies like that, latex allergies are very common in individuals. Well, that could affect food because latex is made from different kinds of rubber trees, and I think like avocados, tomatoes maybe. There's some allergies that if somebody has a latex allergy, it can result in certain food allergies because of the latex allergy. So that's something else you want to make sure that the nursing home is quite aware of. I have personally found that with food allergies, they still get everything mixed up and confused, even in medical facilities. Be very careful about that. Let them know of their abilities, whether this is walking, talking, eating, or dressing themselves. I know, like, my mother-in-law went into the hospital for a mastectomy. My mother-in-law was paraplegic. We made it quite clear to the nursing staff that she was paraplegic. If you have a surgery, part of the process is getting the person up and walking them afterwards, and that they couldn't do that because she could not walk. And she called us cussing and yelling and screaming because they were trying to get her up to walk, and she was trying to explain that she couldn't, and they were not listening to her. Even though we had let them know she was paraplegic, it was in her medical records that she was paraplegic, they were still trying to get her up to walk. Her wheelchair was sitting right next to the bed. This is one of those things you've got to make sure they understand it, and sometimes you have to tell them multiple times. I find that having it written out on a piece of paper that you can post right there next to your loved one's bed is something that helps out quite a bit. So things you need to remember. The nursing facility is trying to learn about your family member, and that may take them some time. It takes time to get all those orders in. You would like them to be there when your loved one gets there, but they often are not. They are not aware of everything that you are. So on the nursing facility's defense, they have multiple people they need to take care of, and they have to remember all of this information about all of the people in their care. They do not know everything about your loved one that you know. And the more you can give them, the more you can tell them, the better care that they can have in taking care of your loved one. They are not going to take care of your family member the same way you take care of your family member. Once again, they've got a lot of people they take care of, and you've got one or two people that you take care of. I take care of two people. The friend I've been referring to in this video, she takes care of both her mother and her father. A nursing facility, though, they have possibly up to 100 people that they have to take care of. And that's a lot of people to remember all these things about, which is why it is our responsibility to step in and remind them or let them know what our family member needs. You may need to remind them multiple times about the medicines, about proper care, about their allergies and their food and what they prefer to wear. It may take them a while to get used to it and to learn your loved one's personal needs. The longer your loved one is there, usually the better they get, but you still have to give them that learning curve. And I know, especially when a loved one comes from a hospital setting into a rehab, we are terrified. It's been an emergency situation, and so we are stressed out, we're tired, and we are worried. But they still have a job to do. And while they try to be somewhat caring about our situation, they still have their job to do, and they just want to do their job the best they can. Try to remember they're only human. And in a lot of cases, they're overworked and tired. Does that justify them missing things? Maybe not, but let's try and give them, the benefit of the doubt. How does that sound? Now, that being said, nursing home abuse is a real thing. And I hate to think that about anybody. I think that nursing facilities have a wonderful job. They do a great job at helping relieve stress from us as loved ones and family caretakers. However, nursing facility abuse is a thing, and we need to keep an eye out for signs of it in our loved ones. You want to make sure your loved one is getting the care they need. If there's any unusual bruises that can't be explained. I mean, with elderly, They tend to bruise easy, so you got to take that into account. If your loved one says something's not right, check it out. Like my mom was a perfect sound mind when she was there. So if she told me something was up, I could believe her 100%. Now they didn't. She was fine. She would get mad if she had to wait like 3 minutes to get something to drink or something. On a serious note, like in my friend's case, when she arrived one day, her dad cannot feed himself, and that did not look like they attempted to feed him. It looked like he had tried to feed himself. There was food everywhere. It was not good. She had to reiterate to them that he could not feed himself. That could be considered a form of abuse, not feeding him. But for the fact that he was brand new there and they were not aware of the fact that he needed help to the level that he needed help is a thing. There's a difference between lack of knowledge and actual abuse. If you notice your loved one starts losing a lot of weight for no reason, if they're complaining that they don't think that they're getting their medicines properly, if they think that things are disappearing, or if they say that they haven't been moved or that people are actually being mean mentally, physically, or emotionally, you need to go and see the social worker. You need to go and talk to the director of nurses. And if that doesn't help, then you need to take it up higher. I hope this video has started helping. Like I said, there's actually going to be probably a couple more videos in this little group. I actually have a playlist for rehab and nursing home facilities. I will put it in that playlist. I hope it helps. This is one of the most difficult things for a caretaker because number one, we're having to give up control and we suck at that. We have worked very hard to put everything together in our lives so that we can do this one thing and we can do it well and we can take good care. And giving up control is a little bit hard, but also not knowing is hard too. But we need to embrace what is going on, and we need to understand that this is a next step that sometimes have to be made. Rehab is not nursing facility. It sometimes can end up where we go the next step into nursing facility, but rehab is actually not long term. That's important. But we also have to be willing to make that step if it turns out that they need to be in there long term. We need to be able to make that step. Once again, I hope this video helped. There will be more. I hope that you will like, subscribe, and share to the video and to the channel. And I hope that you will leave some comments down below. I'm trying to get the community be a little bit more interactive down there, but I hope this helps. It's hard. It's a hard choice to have to make. I will see you all next Sunday. Remember, I love you.